Hello, Isa. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you? Of
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and coming here.
course.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was it life like in that particular city?
Okay. So I'm originally from a city in Brazil in the southern part called Blumenau. It was originally a German colony, so I have a very strong German heritage in my family. So I feel like growing up, I was among Brazilian peers, but I was raised as a German. So it was interesting. We had some key differences, but yeah, a lot of Brazilian and a lot of German in me for sure.
Blumenau, right?
Yeah.
How big a town is it?
So right now, I think it's around 360,000 people living there. It's like the third greatest city in the state.
It's quite like the same size as Tampa. Tampa is 400,000.
Yeah.
Yeah?
hmm
So do you think it is also as big in size, just not the population, or?
I think it's more or less like the same thing. Like downtown is very populated, but we also have some more like rural areas,
Mhm.
and we also have like a very strong textile industry and electro informatic industry. So the Germans came and put on like a lot of textile companies. So for a couple of years, my city actually had like the biggest textile industry in the world. Right now, they're behind China, of course, but and because of that, the IT industry also evolved a lot because they were building software for those industries, right?
It seems like it's one of the most prosperous cities in Brazil, right?
Yeah, it is one of the best cities to live in Brazil for sure. They have like a huge human development there. It's for sure one of the best places to live, according to a bunch of studies they make. Yeah,
Okay. And you lived in that city only, right?
yeah,
Okay. And after leaving Blumenau, you came straight to America?
yeah.
Okay. Also, you mentioned that you have some German heritage. So is Blumenau, is it heavily German, or is it some certain parts of Blumenau, or the
Yeah,
entire
it's
city?
heavily German.
Okay.
So across town, you can see a bunch of like German architecture is very common, and the history is also very present. We also host the second greatest Oktoberfest in the world,
Oh wow.
only after Munich one, of course. Uh, we host like over 1 million people there every year for this party. They won like multiple awards for German artisanal beer. So I feel like it runs across the whole city for sure.
Mm.
Just not everyone speaks German to this day, but you see a lot of like German childcare institutions. You see schools teaching German as a second language, which is not something that I see common in other parts of the country specifically.
So did it sometimes feel like that you were actually living in a city, in some German city, not Brazil? That
Growing up, I feel like I felt like I was in Brazil while I was at school, but when I came home and the goals were different, the language was different, um, things got a little bit mixed up. So I feel like once I actually went to Germany and visited and saw for myself like how it was to be in Germany, I saw a lot of things that I had at home being presented in society as a whole. So I feel like I had both things growing up, but the German part was mostly at home.
you
Yeah,
can pass like a person who grew up in America, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
people usually believe that.
So you, maybe languages is just something it comes naturally to you, right? Maybe.
I think so. After you start learning languages and you really get the hang of it, like how to, because the thing is, you don't really start, your trajectory to fluency until you start learning in that language and not necessarily like grammar. You need to start like exploring something that you're interested in that second language so you can really see how it is. And I would say that English nowadays is super easy to learn because of all the American influence around the world. Like you can watch TV shows in original English, and you can watch basically YouTube videos about every subject on the face of earth in English.
So you came to America at 18,
17.
17, just for college, straight.
Just for college, yeah.
Okay.
But I was one of the youngest in my class, so I graduated right after turning 17,
Mm.
and I graduated in December 2021, and I came here on August 2020. Have a little gap period. So in 2018, I was a freshman in high school. We all went on a family trip to San Diego, California, where my cousin was studying structural engineering. So basically, like whole family reunion, and we were there obviously to celebrate that he was graduating. Um, he is 8 or 9 years older than me, so you can see how that was like very influential
You're
over
looking
me.
up to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
He's so inspiring. He has a startup that he has
Already?
been
Wow.
going on and running ever since he graduated college, and it has become a business. And he's a CIO today, and he pursued a master's in machine learning. He he's it.
And you, so looking at his graduation, you thought like, I want to do that one day, right?
Not even the graduation, but the conversations we spent having that week. Like, so since he was so much older, and I was a kid before that, right? I started high school, started like maturing a few things, and the questions about, oh, where are you going to college? What are you studying in college? Started popping up, usually at that time. And then I actually didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Like, for a huge period of my life, I thought I wanted to go to med school and to become a surgeon, um, because I don't know, I thought that was something that would match with my personality and with my intellectual capacity, I would
Mm-hmm,
say.
mm-hmm.
But then he started telling us about like this whole tech view of things, how tech was going to change the world, and it's on in front of me, and I was just like, okay, maybe that's something I should do.
That's that was the starting point, right?
Yeah.
And you've been in the States for 2 years now, like a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
A year and a half. And from thinking of that so far ahead now, a year and a half into your undergrad, how are you feeling? It looks like you doing pretty well with yourself. Are you where at a place where you thought you would be?
Not really actually. I thought I didn't know exactly what to think about, just because the perspective that I had of college was heavily based on, what my parents told me about their experience. But my parents went to med school, so that's a completely different experience. And even though it's like also is very competitive and like a hard field to be in because you have to study a lot, it's so much different than coming to study like something tech related. Why? Because you need to have like a complete different level of understanding on these very hard topics. Because you don't need to only know, you need to be able to reproduce things and to create things with the knowledge that you have from seeing others creating things. So it's a whole complex thing. And for a long time, I thought I wasn't going to make it actually.
Here, while studying here?
Not studying here, but I wasn't going to make it on my program.
Oh, okay, okay.
So um, I am at the place today where I think I don't see like another major that I would pick. Not necessarily because of the skills that you get, technically speaking, but because of the opportunities that you have once you graduate. I think we learn about how computers work and how we can make programs do things, but we don't learn how to solve problems.
Mm.
That's the part that they don't teach.
And you kind of a little bit disappointed?
I wasn't necessarily disappointed, but I had like a reality shock that I came into this program having already a different perspective than the average CS major. I feel like everyone there is just wants to get like a software engineering position, where they will be told what to do, and they follow instructions to make projects, and they make them work, they debug, and that's it. They don't need to come up with ideas of their own. They don't need to crack their heads against the wall trying to solve this problem where they have to put themselves in the place of someone else.
Feels like you're thinking like a CEO.
Yeah.
Because is am I saying it
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So basically today I'm aiming more for project and program management positions. I actually had a great opportunity last month for a great company for a spot like that, where the interns have the opportunity of bringing in their own projects and basically like conducting a whole team and leading everyone. And I feel like that would be the place where with the personality and the profile that I have, would thrive. Not necessarily because I don't like the technical stuff, but because I think there is a lot beyond that. You can't just stay with the computer. You don't understand what's going on in people's lives. But you don't understand. If you don't understand the point of making a product, you can't make it.
You cannot be emotionally involved with it, right? You cannot feel the drive if you don't know what's the point of it.
Exactly.
Very nice, thank you. Now we're going to talk about your cultural assimilation in the United States. Like, how do you fit in here with other American students? Do you cling to your own Brazilian group or German group, or do you hang out with other American folks? And what's the how do you how do you mesh?
So I would say I pretty much tend to stay around the Brazilian crowd, just because we have so many Brazilians on campus, and we all have similar stories. Because when I feel like you try to talk to American students, you see like a very different point of view, um, because of the huge difference between international students and American students.
I
The
want
effort that comes into it.
effort. Thank you. I want to talk about that because you seem to be a lot more driven to me than
The average
I would
American
not.
student.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's not even about motivation. I
Right.
think it's because every international student, or most of them, I'd like to say, is here because they wanted more.
More of what?
More. It can be more knowledge, more opportunity, more whatever.
Mhm.
Um, they wanted to go beyond what was offered to them at first. Because, of course, it's easier to stay in your country. Of course, it's easier, it's more comfortable, it's less expensive, it's a lot of things.
Close to family.
Exactly. Um, and I met few American students that actually showed like this sort of commitment to their own future, like international students have.
Very
Uh,
few. You met a few, or you didn't meet
I,
those?
I I met like
Very
few,
very few.
very few. I think even if you look at the data, you will see that the students that are driving the school up, that are conquering things and putting the school's name out there, are the international students, not the American ones. And that shows a lot. International students have like stellar grades here, um, while American students are usually just like average. I mean, at least coming from a Brazilian education system, we are prepared for a whole different test. So our high school um, test, or like college entrance exam, is based on all 16 subjects.
16. Wow.
Yes. While the American one is only based in English and math. So you already see the difference there. And so it's not only learning a second language and being able to take an exam in a second language, but it's being able to adapt to a whole different education that you weren't uh, placed in any sort of time.
That is like quite challenging and
Yeah,
prepares you well. You're here for whatever comes your way. You really tackle it, right?
absolutely.
So you've got how many more? One more year before you graduate?
I have I have 2 more years.
2 more years.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's only a year and a half. You've got two more years, and maybe you will see more, take more classes, and develop more as a person in America, as a student, and maybe your perspective might change a little bit later about how things are and what is being taught, and and what you were expecting from those classes. Is there anything else you would like to share with the folks who might be coming from Brazil or for Germany? What should they expect, and what they might actually see?
I think coming from another country, you usually put America in this type of like pedestal where you see as the perfect place with no issues and nothing wrong and just like a great place. And while it is a great place, it's definitely not for everyone. And especially if you're coming here with this perspective of living the American college dream, I wouldn't recommend it personally
Wow.
because it's not about that. It's not about that for us. Um, and if you want to come here and live and behave like an American, you're doing it wrong. You're wasting an opportunity and wasting, this chance of getting into this huge gap of qualified professionals that they don't have because I believe the education system, at least in high school, fails people.
Wow, that's pretty blatantly put. Well, I like your candidness, and I like your openness about it, and you're a very mature person for your age.
Like, if you don't know, it's okay, but you
Keep
have a
looking, right?
million ways to try and go find out. What you can't do and what you shouldn't do is just like sit there and do nothing and be like, yeah, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going, so I'll just go nowhere. That makes no sense.
Right. So you're not here to sit here and wait for things to happen for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna change things, make things happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, I am really trying to hold all the doors open for my future. So I know that immigrating to America is such a hard thing nowadays, especially if you're trying to go from a student visa to a work visa. So of course I have like plan B, plan C, plan D, whatever, and that's one of the reasons why I started studying German again because they have more favorable immigration laws. They also have a huge tech market, and I think I might actually go there for a honor study abroad next summer. So we'll
Where
see about
Germany?
that. Yeah,
Germany? Okay,
Germany.
right, right. And that your course you're taking in German studies this will prepare you well for that, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Isa, and I wish you well. And
No
maybe
problem.
after a couple of years, we can do part two of this and see where you are now, then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe before graduation.
For your graduation. Thank you.